The converted man here. Hi. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's weird. It grows back. Anyways, so rationality rules is currently, as I do this live, doing a live stream talking about Jordan Peterson, culture wars, and New Age Christianity. I was only in there for a brief moment or two, getting rather bored and annoyed and etc. Now, maybe you find the talk interesting, maybe you don't, I don't know. But I saw and heard things that troubled me. There was some hints at some postmodern and Marxist arguments that are pro those ideas. Like, hey, these ideas are worth exploring and worth trying, and maybe they just haven't been done right. And the problem is, is who's implementing them and how they're implemented. They haven't worked in the past, but that doesn't mean they're not going to work in the future when I am running the show. So I thought, why are they doing this? What's going on? What's the deal? Why would you be pro postmodernism or pro Marxism when both of those ideologies fail utterly in terms of having been tried and failed in Marxism's case, and postmodernism is completely incoherent because somebody called it advanced skepticism, and I just wanted to explode the universe at that point. It's like, no, no, no. It's nothing to do with skepticism. Postmodernism is almost, it's a rejection of all reality. So that's not skeptical anymore. But it's weird because it embraces the idea that it's true that nothing really is real. Like all the words are all made up, which is true, but because they're all made up, you can make any values on anything, and none of that really matters, which is not really true. And it's incoherent because if it was true, then that means its own teachings would also be under its ideas that things are incoherent at their core, and that value judgments don't mean anything, and that everything's arbitrary and whatever. So it falsifies itself, unlike skepticism, which is just to doubt things. You don't need to doubt that words mean things and that the meanings are something that we've agreed upon, and that is a value of things, and there's all that. You don't need to be skeptical of those things. So anyways, whatever. I don't like the ideology, and the ideology is a bad one, I think, but maybe some people don't. But why and we can't assign motive, but I thought maybe I could take a swing. So Jordan Peterson has talked a lot about religion and Christianity. He's pro-religion, pro-Christianity. He's been called an apologist by some. I honestly don't think that term applies to him. He's not giving argumentations in the way that apologists give argumentations. But I guess on a technical level, I guess you could say he's doing apologetics to some degree. He certainly seems to believe that religion is important for humanity, or that it's something that humanity needs. And I've heard that opinion reflected by many others. Even atheists sometimes hold this idea that, well, people need religion. And I'm like, well, I don't, but okay, somebody else might. And that might be true, but I don't know how many people really need it, or what that means, or what religion is, or can we shape it to be something better, etc. Okay, so Peterson's pro-religion and pro-Christianity, and we don't like Christianity and we don't like religion, broadly speaking. So what else does Peterson disagree with? because he agrees with the thing that we disagree with. So anything he disagrees with must then therefore be something that we should agree with. See, so he disagrees with postmodernism and Marxism and other insanity of that sort, socialism, etc. Therefore, the enemy of the enemy is my friend. So because he disagrees with these things and he accepts the thing that we hate, therefore the thing that he disagrees with must therefore be right. So postmodernism and Marxism must be good because religion is bad. Now, is that what's really going on? I don't know. I'd say maybe it's a stretch, okay? But I'm willing to make that stretch. Maybe you're not, and that's okay. I think that what we have to do is be very careful with any ideology. Now, yes, they're worth debating, absolutely, and they're worth talking about and examining and thorough, and maybe that's what they were doing or attempting to do, and maybe I just, took it the wrong way and whatever, I don't know. It's all possible, right? I'm just thinking out loud here, if you will, okay? But I do think that we, broadly speaking, or at least I, can take a individual and say, okay, what they said here is something I don't like, and therefore everything is tainted by that. What they said over here is something I agree with, but maybe I can find somebody else that has said that, because then I don't have to associate with that person because they said this thing over here and that thing was bad. And somebody said something like that to me. I was like, oh, why listen to Peterson at all? It's like, well, because I sometimes agree with him. It's like, yeah, but he's bad. So listen to somebody else who you'll always agree with, or who isn't Peters anybody but him. It's like, I'm not, I listen to people I don't agree with on many subjects. Sometimes I agree with some of the things, sometimes I don't, and sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't like them, whatever. But I try to absorb different ideas so that I can maintain some sort of balance between things that I think might be true, and somewhere in the middle might be the truth. You have the left says this, the right says that, the conservative, the liberal, and whoever says this and whoever says that. And so you go, okay, well, somewhere in the middle maybe it's the truth, or maybe you can't find it. But listening to ideas, listening to people, and reading books, and all this helps me to think and hopefully maintain some sort of sanity in an otherwise insane world. Sometimes I simply call such insanity madness. And I've seen plenty of it, because maybe part of the worry or concern of losing religion is that if it is true that people need it, that something else will become it. And certainly political ideologies can mimic religion, if not outright be a religion. And Marxist ideology certainly seems very much like a structure of a belief system. You can't really challenge it. It's laid out in really different terms. And those, of course, are translations, but still, it's weird terminology, the means of production. And it's like, what is that even? What are you talking about? Teach according to their ability, whatever. And so ideologies of all stripe, whether they be political, social, religious, whatever, for me, I want to avoid those ideologies. I don't want to subscribe to those ideologies because they lock you in, or they might lock you in. They tend to lock people in. And you say, well, how do you know that? Well, you try talking somebody out of it, and you kind of see that they're locked in. Can we make a religion that is benign? Possibly, maybe. And I think that there's been a couple of attempts. Certainly, there are atheist churches. Is that a religion? Not really. Could it be? Yeah. Could secularism be a religion? It could be. Is that good? I don't know. And I think that some people have tried to make atheism or skepticism or whatever ism into a pseudo religion of some sort. I've seen people be, quote, gatekeepers, and this person doesn't belong in the skeptical community. In fact, we saw that. Speaking of rationality rules, he was uh, expunged, if you will, from the atheist experience. They had him on once or twice, maybe at least once, and then it was found out that he made a video about transgender people in sports. Oh no, he must be transphobic. Ah! And so the atheist experience, Matt Dillahunty, they were like, we're sorry, we didn't know, and yeah, and he's never going to be on again, and he's evil and transphobic, and let's, so let's throw him under the bus, and whatever. And that's their decision to make. I think that that's silly, but they view what he said as bad and wrong, and it's like, well, part of it might be wrong, but what about some of it that's right? Okay, hammer him on the parts that are wrong, but just to expunge him forever, he's never going to be on the show again. No matter what he does, no matter what he says, it doesn't matter. He's unforgivable, and I find that rather repugnant as a stance. He doesn't belong in the atheist community because he has wrong ideas. This skeptic has the wrong thoughts, so they don't belong in the skeptical community. They don't belong here. They're too toxic. And I've seen atheists talk like this. I've heard them speak this way, that certain people shouldn't be part of the community. I'm like, what community? What are you talking about? Oh, there is a community. No, there isn't. No, yes, there is. And obviously there's a community because we're all here and we're people and we're a community. And it's like, what's a community? I guess that would be a good question to ask, maybe. You're asking questions. You're not part of the community. Okay, I didn't want to be part of your stupid community anyways. Whatever. Let's ban this person. Let's censor them. Let's deplatform them. Let's, whatever them. Because they said the wrong thing once, and that's enough. They're unforgivable. And this is sadly a trend. You've seen it, we've seen cancel culture, but some atheists and some skeptics and some groups are doing this. Why? Well, different ideologies, things that have nothing to do with atheism. One of the first atheist groups, or maybe it was the first group that I actually went to, where it was other people there in person, and they met up at this bar, and they would talk about everything except for atheism, it seemed like. And then eventually the leader guy was like, we're gonna have to just talk about atheist stuff. We keep talking about politics, we keep talking about all these other things, and the other guy was like, what you're saying, I don't agree, because we want to talk about whatever we want to talk about. It's like, well, we're going to be an atheist group, therefore we should only talk about atheism. And I've been kind of told, well, not told, but hinted at or pushed towards, you're only allowed to speak about atheist topics. So I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we can't talk about non-atheist things. Obviously, Duh, yes, that's not the only thing to focus on. That's not the only thing to talk about. But in our desire to knock out the faith and to get it to somewhere reasonable, to get it to be less harmful, in our fever to do that, we've got to be careful that we don't create our own religion, our own ideology, and then fall into that. Our own group mind think, our own, yes sharing section, our own echo chamber, whatever you want to call it. We've got to be very careful that we don't also do the thing that we're ranting and raving against. So, no gatekeeping. Yes, I will talk to anybody. Oh, you shouldn't talk to some. I will talk to them. I don't care. What's it matter? What's their argument? That's all that matters to me. I was like, oh, that person's bad. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe they're bad, but what do they believe and why? Let's talk to them and find out. Maybe I can debate that thing, and that's good because that idea is out there, whether I debate it or not. So if I say nothing on it, that's bad. It's like, well, you're giving more attention to it. Doesn't matter. It's got attention anyway. So you just let it be out there without challenging it. Well, let it be out there, but don't challenge that person because that person's no. That whole stuff that's part of what I'm talking about with we to be skeptical is to the person is not relevant, the group is not relevant. What is relevant is the argument. And you say, oh, but you're anti-postmodernism, you're anti-Marxism, whatever. So what about that? Well, I would debate those people if I could. I mean, I don't know that I know enough about political stuff to really debate them, but I guess I would go about it in a logical manner of, does this work? Has it been tried? It has been, and and it failed. And it's like, how could it possibly work? Have you shown that it's even viable at all? And if not, then why do you keep trying to do it again? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. If it's already failed, why do it again? um and then with postmodernism, I would go, well, what underpins this and how does it work? And if it applies to itself, then doesn't it fall apart? I ask those critical questions, right? But I wouldn't go to, let's fight this thing that this person who happens to be for the thing that I'm against, that therefore is good because this person, Peterson in this case, is pro religion, anti this. So therefore the thing that he's against must also be good because he's against the thing that I view as bad, right? And it's like, no. And again, I'm not saying that that's what they're doing or that's what they did. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that idea, that mindset could be going on or could be something that we're doing on some subconscious level or whatever, and that we need to be aware that it's possible and be careful about they went after Rachel Oates as well. Yeah, I mean, they've gone after everyone, right? Why do groups of people go after other groups? We see this kind of behavior in the animal kingdom as well. Well, we are animals, so yes, we see it in other animals. Yes, we're very tribal. We should be aware of that. We have our tribe, and maybe that's what people mean by community. It's like, this is my tribe of people. Ideally, I would want people to tell me that they don't agree with me. It's sometimes it's hard to accept that and listen and really engage, but that's important to do because I can be wrong. They could be wrong as well, but I have to really embrace, it's like, yeah, I can be wrong. So could I be wrong about any ideas? Yes. Could I be wrong about that? Yeah, sure. Could I be wrong about postmodernism? No. But I could be. So maybe somebody could talk me into it, but they'd have to have a valid and sound argument, which I don't know that you could have under that ideology, but who knows? Um, but that's what I require. The same that I require for everything, anything else. It's never gonna change. It's always the same three. I've always said empirical evidence, repeatable test, a valid and sound argument. Give me one of those three things, and then I will accept it and believe you. Am I going to ask you questions? Absolutely. Am I going to be, asking you for citations? Yes. Is it going to be a lot of hard work for you? Absolutely. But the moment that you say, go look it up yourself or, whatever, then we're done. I've won. You've lost. You haven't convinced me. And that's it. That's just how it works. I'm not, with so as far as culture wars, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know. Whatever. The culture changes all the time. Whatever. Um, New religion, or what do they call it? New Age Christianity. Well, yes, New Age plus Christianity. That's happened. Christianity blends in and out of different ideas all the time. People pick and choose what they want to believe. Crystals and healing and all this. Uh, is so if we look at and we say, okay, what's the main topic? Like, do people need religion? And I saw this thing where a bunch of Christians were talking about how people with Christianity are healthier, happier people. I'm like, okay, you said that there are studies done on it. They said there's all these studies in the description of the video. They're like, all these studies have been done. And I'm like, that's great. Where are they? Can you cite them, please? Because you had links to other stuff, but they didn't have links to those studies. So, it's like if it's out there, I want to see it. That's all. You just not that difficult. Being a skeptic or being skeptically minded, I sometimes waver between it's really difficult or it's really easy, depending on my mood, I suppose. Do fish need bicycles? Maybe? I don't know. That's a weird comment. Yes. I don't know. I don't know that they need them. They might want them. I don't know. I don't know. They pedal. They have to be a fish bicycle. They have to be designed for them. Well, that ruined my train of thought. Oh well. It's live. Oh, being skeptical is either really easy or really difficult. Okay. It's easy. Just doubt things. Well, what's it mean to doubt? It means to hold it in judgment. What do you mean? Well, it means I don't think it's true. I don't think it's false. So what do you think? Nothing. I don't know. I have not yet decided. And many times I think what happens is because I'm being skeptical about something and I'm asking critical questions, people think I'm against the thing. And I'm like, no, I'm not for it or against it. I'm just asking the critical questions. That's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. Well, which are you though? It's like neither. Well, you have to pick a side. No, I don't. And some people think, oh no, you on this is the most important topic of all time. Yeah, I heard that. Oh yeah. Climate change was the most important topic of all time. It's the most biggest threat to humanity ever. We need to do something about it right now. And then I heard, well, Corona, C-19, that's the biggest threat to humanity of all time. We need to do something about it right now. The war in Ukraine is the biggest threat to humanity. And, yeah. Nuclear bombs. We still have those, by the way. Yeah, we still have a lot of nukes everywhere. Everybody has nukes still. That's pretty bad. That's the biggest threat to humanity of all time, and we need to do something about it right now. I'm like, yeah, sure. What? What would you like me to do about it? What do you think I could do, or what? What am I supposed to do? You know. Um, so is religion the biggest topic of all time? No, no. Is there any topic that's the biggest? I don't know. I don't know. My brother believes in God, but what is God to him is evolved through time and changed through time because he's on a quest to find the actual God, assuming there is a God to find. And he assumes that there is. And he believes in whatever that is. And he doesn't know why he believes in that. And he accepts that and he says that. He says, it's just faith. That's it. I don't know why I have this. And I'm like, well, maybe that's just how your brain works. Like, I guess so, We don't know. And it's okay. I'm like, it's more interesting that you believe than not. But he's reasonable with everything else. He doesn't deny science or history or anything like this. He's willing to change his beliefs if he's given, enough evidence for it or whatever. And that's where I think we need to aim for the religious people. That you can't talk somebody out of belief. I don't think you can deconvert persons. They do that to themselves, We just talked to that the last conversation I had where the woman was talking about how her past self wouldn't have listened to her now, her present self. So there are people. It's like you're not going to convince them, but you might put an idea in their head, and they might have to go look for the answer. Yeah. Hey. Religion is for tribalizing groups of people, I guess. I am a hypocrite. Okay, I guess I am. What's your argument? I love when people just throw out insults as if that matters. So I'm for critical thinking and skeptical thinking and against ideological thinking. And that means nuance is required. And nuance takes thought, and thought takes energy. And sometimes it's easier to just be lazy. And an ideology can give you the answers. And so it's easier. It thinks for you. How do I deal with this? Well, use capitalism. That works. What do you mean? How? Use the free market. That works. What do you mean? How? How does that work? What? Use Marxism. That works. Wait, what? What do you mean that works? Just use it. Just do it. And it that sort of thing is way back to when I talked to Matt Slick. I said, okay, fine. I'm not going to require empirical evidence or repeatable tests or a valid and sound argument. What do I do? And he said, become a Christian. It's like, why? What system am I using to do that? It's like being a Christian enables you to be a Christian. Okay, I see what Stumpy's talking about. Certain people have gotten themselves banned by being trolls. But I'll talk to anyone that's not a troll. That's fine. Anyways, I guess I should have clarified. I'll talk to anyone except for the people that don't deserve to be talked to, in my view. Who's that? Well, yeah. yeah, it's when you make a broad statement, you have to rewind a bit and go, whoops. I'll talk to almost anyone. Well, fair enough, right? Um, I suppose we do make judgments on who we speak to and who we don't, and why. Why are we not going to talk to that person? Well, because we think they're a troll, maybe, or uh, and why do we think they're a troll? Because they are harassing people, perhaps. They've harassed friends of yours. They've gone after them. They won't leave them alone. That might be a thing, or they spam messages. That's like just annoying, right? So some are bots. I mean, you can't talk to a bot, right? So yeah, but under certain conditions, you would talk to them. And say, okay, look, you want a chance to talk, fine, but you have to do these things because you got put to the sideline for a reason, and here's that reason, and it's reasonable. It's not unreasonable. It's like, here's the conditions you must meet, and like with Rosa Barr, she made a tweet and some people viewed it as racist, and she lost her show because of it, which I think is ridiculous. They could have just said, look, do this and you get your show. You're fine. Just say sorry, and that's it once, and that's enough. And but that isn't what people go. No, you have to keep apologizing, keep apologizing. It's like, no, that's ridiculous. Just have it be like a one-time thing, like with somebody. Trying to remember the name of the person that it was, but whatever. They insulted people, like, with swear terms and whatnot. And I said, just apologize for that, and I'm happy to talk to you. And they never did. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk to you until you do that. That's it. Just say sorry. Don't be a jerk. That's all. Not that big of a requirement, I don't think. But they did. So yeah. Uh, so yeah. But it's worth revisiting. So I appreciate that. I've been challenged by my own ideas. Yeah, that's good because I can reflect upon that and think, huh, wait a minute. Maybe I was overzealous in saying that, we talk to everybody. There are, but then there might be a mechanism that we want to put in place for, let's say that there's somebody that's acting in a way that you don't want them to act. Why not talk to them? Rather than just kick them out of the group, or throw them under the bus. Couldn't the atheist experience have had rationality rules on to and say, okay, let's talk about this video you made, and let's ask you critical questions, and what were you thinking, and whatever. And it's not atheist per se, but they made it part of their show by making it a deal. So talking about it with him might have been an interesting show. And you would have had people call in, I'm sure, to talk about their beliefs of regarding the issue. Um, so yeah. Ultimately, some people don't like Peterson and whatever. It's like, look, some of the things he says I agree with, some I don't. He did this biblical lecture series. I listened to all of them, and in my view, he's secularizing the Bible. I think that people don't get that. Perhaps on the religious side, they don't see that he's doing that, and maybe even people on the skeptical side don't really see that he's doing that. Maybe there's disagreement there, and that's fine. Um, I think he was, because he was trying to explain the stories in a secular way. It's like, well, why would you do that if you believe they're supernatural? You wouldn't need to. Like, he was explaining the Ark of the Covenant. It's like maybe it had drugs in it, and that's what made the people would the priest would hand out the drug, maybe it was cocaine, to the soldiers, and then they would, you know, do a bit of it, and then they'd be energized for battle. But they protected it and made it sacred so that they could control it, because they, you know, it's very important that they control it so that it doesn't get out of control. But then over time it becomes legendary, it becomes a sacred object, and stories are made up like somebody touches it and dies. Well, maybe somebody touched it and they got killed because they touched it. They didn't just immediately drop dead, but the story got exaggerated. So he's secularized that, and that's good in my view. It's like, yes, take religion and make sense. Like, and I remember quite some time ago they were saying that somebody had said that was an atheist, that when I still was a theist, was complaining about how they had tried to show that the sea could part, the part of the Red Sea or whatever this little body of water was, could part like this if enough wind was blowing. He's like, why bother? The thing is made up. I'm like, well, if there's a scientific explanation for it, then maybe that's what really happened. And it did happen, and it got recorded, and they just mistook it for supernatural. That's what I thought way later on in time. At the time, I don't know what the heck I said to him, if anything, but later on, I was like, oh, yeah, that's why. Because, you know, if there's an alternate explanation, then that might, and that's a natural explanation and it's plausible and possible, then maybe that is the explanation. I'm on all sorts of tangents today with this thing. Bad anti-apologetics. Try to refocus. Okay, so bad anti-apologetics would be that you're going after the apologist so much that everything that they agree with, you now have to disagree with. And I think that's bad. So we shouldn't do that, which is gatekeeping. Bleep. It's difficult, isn't it? How, you know, you can't, it's like you establish rules, but you can't establish rules. How does it work? I don't know. I guess I can say be careful about it. Be aware of it. That, yeah, there's things that the person is going to think are true alongside of the thing that you disagree with. You might agree with those things, and that's good. When you agree, it's good. You know, it's like, yeah, they're you know, they're right on X, Y, and Z. They're wrong on, you know, this thing, and not just throw the person out because, you know, well, they said this racist thing way back when. Okay, can we get over that? I mean, like, they said it once, they were wrong. Okay, move on. Well, they didn't apologize. So what? Who cares? You know, move on. Whatever. I don't know. It's nuance. It's difficult, and I guess that's what I'm grappling with this is thinking about it out loud with you, whoever you are that are listening and watching, commenting. Um, that you guys, girls, and robots, etc., I rely upon your feedback to tell me when I'm wrong. And you did. And I was like, oops, I was wrong. I took down a video where I was wrong. And I was like, okay, yeah. But we need each other for that. And so this is important to do. This is, you know, anti-apologetics is good to do, but bad anti-apologetics is bad to do because you're throwing out too much with them. And I'm not saying that the Rationality Rules is guilty of that or anything like that. What I'm saying is that I think that, well, I've already said, we need to be careful that we're not, grouping together the things that it's like association causation. It's like, well, this person likes this, and they don't like that, and that's the thing that I'm against the thing that they like, so therefore the thing that they don't like I should like. It's like, no, no, no. It's like you have a Christian that agrees with evolution, and it's like, well, I'm against Christianity, but I accept evolution, so am I going to reject evolution because they accept Christianity? No, that doesn't make sense. And we recognize that. But on some things, at some level, at some topic somewhere, we might forget that that's a thing that we do as people, and then go one step too far. And then, we're going after the wrong thing. We're not really going against apologetics. We're going against something else, which is a whole different topic, and that's fine. You can go against whatever topic you want, but you got to separate them. And maybe they did, and maybe they are. And, I don't know. They're still going on with this stream even now, so you can check that out if you want. And yeah, I mean, it's nuanced, right? It's like I said, it's difficult to have, and I'm not sure that I have nuance as much as I would want to, but hopefully you'll all keep me on my toes, and I'll try to do the same. Let me know your thoughts about anything I said here, whatever. I don't know, Stumpy, whoever you are. I don't know why you were banned or whatever. I don't know who you are. So if you want to set up a talk with me, you can email me and we'll do that. My email is deconvertedman1, the number 1, at gmail.com. It's on my about page. Send me an email. We'll talk. All right. Until next time. I don't know. I have a blue sheep. So there you go. That's the thing. That's it now. I'm done. Bye!